Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Holistically Thriving, where we talk about all different topics that will help you in different areas of your life to thrive, right? Because most people think of thriving as, oh, I need to improve my life, so therefore I'm just going to start eating healthier. But there's so many other aspects of your life that you have to be working on, maybe not all simultaneously, but you have the people who are always working on their health, but maybe their relationships aren't that great, or they're always at the gym, but they eat like crap. So there are all these different topics. And so we're going to be talking about things along the lines of birth and death and relationships and spirituality and healthy ways of healing naturally. And so everything will also have a holistic spin, holistic in the sense of natural, but also holistic in the sense of whole, oneness, wholeness, right? So it's not just about one little aspect of your life. It's about all the aspects of your life, the whole circle, the big picture, right? So today we're going to be talking along the lines of spirituality and manifestation. And I was going to sit down and I was going to record myself talking about my story and how I got here and why I started this podcast. And I was going to do that, but then I heard this in my head and I was like, this is a good message. I'm going to share this one today. So I had a long time ago a mentor. Her name is Peta Kelly. You can follow her on Instagram. She's really fun to follow on Instagram. She has lots of awesome programs that I highly recommend taking. You can follow her PetaKelly. And she has this saying that I learned from her back in 2017. And so I've been doing this for about 5 years now, where she has this saying that goes, how does it get any better than this? And I started because in my head, I heard that as, how does it get even better than this? So that's what I've been saying all these years. But basically it's a manifestation technique. And what I mean by that is, let's say, I'll use my own example. Back in the day, I went to Greece with my then partner. And my family is Greek. My family has always been talking about, oh, we're going to go back to Greece. It's going to be amazing. And because my partner at the time needed to be out of the country because he was not an American citizen. So every couple of months we had to leave the country. So I went online and I was like, where should we go? And I Googled and went on Airbnb or something and I was like, let's go to Greece. And I found this amazing place in Mykonos, which if you don't know is an island. It's the one that Santorini is the one that, everyone always sees the beautiful white buildings and the white and blue everywhere, but also Mykonos is like the sister island. And I booked this trip for Mykonos. And when I got there, just felt guilt, so much guilt of like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. Why am I here without my family? Do I deserve to be here? My views on money are very different than my family's views on money, my parents specifically. It's also a generational thing. I think our generation is more along the lines of, we work really hard and we also like to spend our money. We don't want to wait until we're 65 and retired and go take a trip to Mykonos. We want to experience it now. And it's very different from that generation, which is more along the lines of, we have to save our money. We can't do anything fun. Let's not go anywhere. And so when I got there, I just felt all these feelings of guilt. And it was when I was there that I was so dedicated to PETA's programs that I actually set an alarm for 3:00 in the morning because she was in a different country. And because I wanted to hop on this live Zoom call that she was doing. And so I set an alarm while I was on vacation in Mykonos to listen to her talk in that Zoom call. And in that Zoom call was when she presented this idea of having this mantra in your head of, how does it get any better than this? And so what that meant was, instead of sitting in those feelings of guilt and anxiety and sadness, a little bit of like, oh, I wish my family could experience this with me. Instead of sitting in those negative feelings, instead to focus more on the positive feelings of like, how can it get even better than this? That changes the whole mindset from feelings of guilt and sadness to like, I deserve this. I am worthy of this and I want more. How can I get even more of this? And you could say that about anything. You could be so happy that you just bought 5 avocados and be like, how can it get even better than this? Like, I have 5 avocados. It could be like a gratefulness exercise, but it could also be a manifestation exercise, right? So you could, some people are not fortunate enough to have lots of food on their table. So you could look at a Thanksgiving table full of food and say, wow, how can it get even better than this? Or she says, how can it get any better than this? And there's just so many, like, look at my room right now. It's bright, white, beautiful. And I would look at that and I would say, how can it get even better than this? Maybe what I've always wanted is a bathroom with a skylight in it, because I actually had that in college back in the day. And it was on the 3rd floor. And I don't even know how I got this room, but it was, it was in the all women's dorm, which that was just part of it. It was a roommate that I had that was like, I hadn't been living with her at that time, but she said, oh, I have an opening in this room. Do you want to come live with me? And I walked into the room and I was like, oh my God, I need to live in this room. It's amazing, because it was so big. It was way bigger than the very tiny little room that I had been living in before that. And so when I walked into the bathroom had skylights everywhere. And it was just like, oh my God, this is magical. So standing in the shower and having a skylight over your head. And ever since then, when I was a sophomore in college or a freshman in college, I always thought, I can't wait to have a skylight in my bathroom someday. So this is like a manifestation technique of like, I can look at my room and be like, wow, this is really, really upscale. When you pull into my apartment complex, it says these are luxury apartment rentals or something like that. And I could look at that and feel guilty that I live in such a nice community. Or I could look at that and be like, how does it get even better than this? This is amazing. Like, I have this epic pool at our apartment complex that no one's ever in. So I could either sit there and feel guilty that other members of my family don't have a pool to sit at, or I can look at that and be like, this is amazing. How can it get even better than this? And so it just shifts your whole mindset. And that's the whole point of manifestation, right? We need to just shift the mindset from feelings of lack or unworthiness or guilt, and shift it into realizing that everyone's on their own journey. Everyone has their own path in life. And instead of focusing on the negative feelings, focusing on the positive feelings, because then you will attract more positive things to you. You want to be sitting in that mindset of positivity, because positive attracts positive, negative attracts negative. This is a well-known fact. You can go Google the science all about it if you would like to, but that's all it is. That's what manifestation is, right? So if you're manifesting something, you want to be sitting in the feelings that you already have it, versus the feelings of lack. So let's take money, for example. If you want to manifest more money into your life, you're not going to manifest money if you're just sitting there staring at your bank account, having anxiety over the fact that it's dwindling. That's only going to attract more of the dwindling numbers, right? Also, if you always have anxiety when you get bills in the mail, instead of looking at a bill and saying, oh my God, I don't have the money to pay for this right now, or, having that anxiety of, oh my God, how did I spend this much money this month? Instead, to look at that and say, thank you. I'm so glad that I have the ability to spend this much money and to be able to pay for it. Now, if you're going into debt, that's a different story. But if you're looking at your bill and you're, it's not that I don't have, I've never not had the money to pay for my bills, but it was that mindset shift of looking at it and going, oh my God, how did I rack up that much in my credit card? And then instead of that, to focus more on, I'm so grateful that money just seems to come to me. I've always been like that. I don't know how. I'm very grateful for it. How does it get even better than that? And so to shift that mindset about credit cards, right? So going back to the money example. So when you hand someone your credit card at a grocery store or whatever you're purchasing, when you're handing over the credit card, to be focusing on, I am so grateful that I have this money right now to spend on food or whatever, on these clothes, on this item that is necessary or maybe unnecessary, right? Because sometimes we like to purchase things that make us feel good. And so that whole mindset shift right there will shift your bank account. I have done this numerous times in my life where I have really sat down and focused specifically on money. And I kid you not, every single time, the next day, something happens where I've gotten a new piano student, or I've gotten a new client, or, and you would think that I would focus on this every single day if I really wanted to be completely abundant all of the time. But I'm always just working on lots of little areas. But the times that I really have sat down and been like, I need money right now, I'm going to manifest money. Those are the times that after I do work around it and shift my mindset, then it just comes to me, right? That's how abundance works. If you're living in that mindset of abundance and gratitude, then more abundance will come to you, and more things that you have to be grateful for will come to you. So the shift from, oh my God, money gives me anxiety. I think money is the number one anxiety in the world. I think that's been talked about many times in many studies, especially in relationships, right? Money is a very big factor in relationships. And I can tell you it was a big factor in mine as well. It was a very big source of stress. And this was years ago. But to be able to shift, it's all about shifting, right? So with everything in your life, if you're eating something, here's a good example for you. If you're eating something that you look at it and you're like, oh my God, I'm cheating. This isn't what I'm supposed to be eating. I know this is unhealthy for me. How do you think your body's going to process that? Is your body going to process it as like, oh, thank you for nourishing me? Or is your body going to process it as, oh my God, this is really bad for me. I probably shouldn't be eating this right now. And I can say that this is a very good example to go from back when I was a child versus now my 3-year-old. When she was eating things, or when I was eating things like ice cream pops and things like that, those were, very, what I would consider not healthy, right? Like sugar and not good ingredients. To now, what am I giving my child now? They don't have food dyes. They're made with natural types of sugars instead of, the crap, the corn syrup and things like that would have been in the things that I was eating. And so it's a mindset shift of, for example, Sophie asked for an ice pop, and it's literally made from fruit and water, and that's it. It's not like a classic ice pop from back in the day in the 90s that had high fructose corn syrup and red food dye. So she asked for it. It's like 20 calories. It's so tiny. And she asked for it, and it was like 5:00. And my mom or my dad, I don't remember who, immediately was like, but you haven't had dinner yet. And I said, give it to her. It's literally fruit. So it's a shift around the way that we view food. It's a shift around viewing sweet things as naughty versus just like, it's just fruit and water. It's a complete different shift around nutrition. And that I'm really proud of for her, because for the way that I am raising her, because I know that she's going to have a very different view around food and nutrition than I did. And that's something that I'm really proud of, because I don't train her to think, oh, this rice and beans is bad, or rice and beans is good, and this fruit pop is bad. I don't train her to think like that. It's more of just like, it's the middle of the day. Sure, you want a fruit pop, go for it. It's just fruit and water. So everything, you can start to switch your mindset right now. Like, think of something right now that you have a negative connotation towards and shift it. You could take anything. Like, okay, I see my bed right here. I'm gonna say sleep. Maybe you have really bad sleep patterns, or really bad, you don't sleep well at nighttime. Well, instead of always being like, oh, I know I'm gonna wake up tired because I don't sleep well. Instead of feeling like that, go to bed thinking, I'm going to wake up rejuvenated, refreshed, energized, and ready for the day. If you start shifting your mindset around how you think you're going to be waking up in the morning into, this is how I'm going to wake up in the morning, then it's going to be completely different. And I promise you, if you start doing that with many areas of your lifetime, it will start to change. And you can also work, like if you have areas with in relationships with your family or your friends that need work as well, you can shift that too, just by you changing your own energy towards it. You can manifest a better relationship just by talking out loud, saying things like, I know that I'm going to have a great time at Thanksgiving dinner tonight. It's going to be a beautiful night. I did that recently with one of our family parties, and I was shocked at how different it was. I usually I have anxiety around the things that I do, like Reiki and frequency therapy. And some of my family members do not understand that. They're way more mainstream minded. So it's hard to talk about things when they ask about, how's business? Because I get that feeling of like, you think I'm a little crazy. So, which I've been actually working on. And so it was, I forgot what it was. It was just an event a couple of weeks ago, and my whole entire family was going to be there. And so before I even got there, I got into this mindset of like, I know what I do is worthy. I am worthy. I love myself. I know that what I'm doing is helping people all over the world, and I'm really proud of that. And it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. And I walked into that party, and I actually had really great conversations with all the family members that I was worried about. So it's all about mindset, and we're going to talk about mindset on many of these podcasts, but this was something that came to me just when I was going to sit down and record my story, which I will do at some point, and it will be up very soon. So there you go, guys. How does it get even better than this? Or how does it get any better than this? Start to use it, and I promise things will shift for you. So hope you enjoyed today's episode. I will catch you on the next episode. Have a lovely rest of your day, and share this with a friend. Bye, guys.